many coaches are past players, have potentially been in the game that have played it. It's not everyone, but you say it's a high percentage. How important do you think it is for coaches to have engaged with psychological training, mental skills, however way you want to frame it?
Engaged historically in it.
Yeah, so they've either... So I would even say how much they're perhaps engaging with it whilst they're coaching.
Yeah. Look, I the two ways I'd answer that would be it always helps if a coach has had a positive experience working with it, or any experience, but because even a negative experience, you can have a conversation about the experience that they've had and potentially influence and change their mind. Should that negative experience have led them to be slightly skeptical about its use? A positive experience really, really helps, because usually then you've got an open door. I think the other thing I want to say is we are starting to try, and again, understanding that I still want to meet people where they're at. I would still put to all coaches out there, you are starting to tread into a world now where if you are not going to engage in this stuff in as efficacious a manner as possible, that is going to limit your ability to coach, especially head coaches who have to see the helicopter viewpoint. And the reality is these days is whether it's these organizations that are becoming bigger and bigger and more bloated, rightly or wrongly, with huge amounts of staff, or even if we come down to organizations with lesser staff, lesser resources, we're going to utilize those resources, bring in a sports psych. If you're just going to simply say, well, I'm going to siphon off this sports psych over there, they're in that office, or they're over there by the side of the pitch, you're just not going to do it as effectively as than if two things. You're giving the sports psychologist more opportunity to work with players and teams, and you're willing to be open for that psychologist to work with and through you as well. You need to be willing, more and more now, I think they need to be willing to listen and to work on these things. And therein lies a problem, because you're asking people to cut away at their autonomy. And that's what head coaches love, their autonomy. By autonomy, I'm being polite in by saying it's my way or the highway. Yeah. I'm in charge. This is what I'm doing, and really the underpinning of when I've sat in rooms and not been listened to or haven't felt I've been listened to, you just think this person, or perhaps more accurately, not given assigned things to do within the organization that involve coaching and coaches, then I just think it's low trust from the head coach. It's a lack of knowledge. It's a lack of knowledge and a lack of ability to manage me, to manage with me, to work with me, to engage, to negotiate, to use me effectively. And I think the future lies with head coaches, managers, head coaches who have the capacity to work with auxiliary staff in the most effective and efficacious manner, to understand that they don't know everything, to understand that actually to distribute power more and distribute decisions more. I do think that I honestly believe, if I think of football, which is probably where I work most, I think if you look at right now Pep and De Zerbi at Brighton, and maybe Klopp at Liverpool, and others, of course, that you are looking at very gifted, Serena Weig, Emma Hayes, you're looking at very gifted head coaches. There is such a thing as a superstar head coach, but the superstar head coaches, that is also an overblown thing. That when we distribute power more, which I think personally an organisation like the FA have done very well, that somebody like Gareth Southgate is where he is and has had the results that he's had because he's been willing to distribute power more and listen to the people by his side. I think that is where the future lies.
Hey, if you've enjoyed that video, then you can click right here to watch the full unedited version of that episode. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel by clicking the button below. I'll see you soon.